Evening, everyone. It's a little after 6, and this is your Tuesday evening closing comment. That's Tuesday the 13th, and it is video number 711. And it was kind of an interesting day. We had the early COVID news, which everybody and their brother must have seen by now, about Johnson & Johnson. The stock did trade down to about 156.5, but managed to close the day 159.14, down 250, or just a little over 1.5%. AstraZeneca, which has also had major problems, did not get caught up in it today with Johnson & Johnson, but AZN did close 49.20, down 22 cents. On the upside, the main beneficiaries, Pfizer and Moderna, could not have been more different. Pfizer, which does not live to move and is still currently lower than where it was when it announced its first drug, closed 37.17, up 20 cents, or 0.5%, while Moderna closed 149.71, up $10 and change, for a market cap gain of $4 billion, up 7.4%. We had Boeing, who delivered 29 planes this past month, 253.27, up 375, or 1.5%. And NovaCure, which we discussed this morning. This is the company that has the positive results on a non-small cell cancer trial. This just goes to show you how dangerous trying to trade in the extended hours can be. NovaCure traded as high as 245 this morning, pre-market. And when I brought it to you, that's about where it was trading, and it was up 112, or 83%. However, when the market opened, the best it could do was 218, and that's still not terrible, but the stock did trade, closed 201.48. That was up 69.68, or 52%. But it really wouldn't have helped you being $44 lower than the high trade in extended hours if you were somebody who rushed in. And from yesterday, we had the Chinese insurance stock that I told you about, TIRX, which traded down 80% yesterday, with a range of 97 and change to 12.15. I would have thought it might have tried to get off the mat a little today, but it closed 17.5, down another half, or 2.78. We had plenty of news today relative to Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto in general. We have the pricing tonight of Coinstar, COIN, and it looks like this is a direct listing, so it's not an IPO per se, but everybody was talking about it being around 400 as the reference point. And in point of fact, it's going to have a reference point of 250. So the company isn't raising any money, so it doesn't really matter where it opens. But that's pretty substantial. And there are two schools of thought here on this one. The first is that they are one of the main markets, and made a ton of money last year. And Bitcoin and Ethereum and the others will have a place to trade, and these guys are kind of the first there as far as a publicly traded exchange. On the other side of it, there's been so much competition with people like Square and PayPal and Robinhood, all offering this at really minuscule fees and charges, that regardless of how much business they do, their margins will get crushed. However, the other side of that is, if they get increased business, then margin contraction won't necessarily hurt. In the meantime, Bitcoin was up closed at a new all-time high after making a new high at 64,450. Excuse me, it closed 63,685, up 31.40. Now, most of you know that we trade Bitcoin through GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and that still has not made a new high, even though we made a new high by over 2,000 today. And it closed 54.91. It's not that far away from a new high. I believe that the old high was 55.23. But so 54.91, up 313 or 6%. But we recommended last week and purchased last week a position in Ethereum, which is another Grayscale trust for another crypto. And my thought on this was that it's a lower price one. It was trading around 17.5 when we bought it, and GBTC was around 48. But Ethereum is kind of, and I've used this term before, it's kind of like the silver versus gold. It's a lower price of entry, and they both go in the same direction. Well, today, not only did they go in the same direction, but Ethereum was $23.61, up $2.62 or 12%, while GBTC was up barely 6%. That's about all I have for you tonight. Just a reminder, we did have CPI. It was somewhat of a non-event this morning, but tomorrow we have the first earnings season stocks, which will include Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Wells Fargo. We'll also have the beige book. We'll have import-export prices for last month, and a couple of other little minor things like weekly mortgage applications. But in any event, this is the time of the year that I hate the most, time of the quarter actually, because some of these just make no sense how they react to their earnings. All of the financials ahead of tomorrow's numbers, which are expected to be blowout good to the upside, were down on the day. As a matter of fact, in the Dow, Goldman Sachs was over half of the loss for the day. Well, we only closed down 68, but the other thing I want to mention is that while the NASDAQ was up and did not make a new high, the NASDAQ 100 did. It closed up 167.14 or 1.21%. So the NASDAQ is close, but the NASDAQ 100, which is, the big FAANG stocks, was another new all-time high. The chart on the screen is the gold, and we were talking this morning about the fact that I thought it would hold in the 1725 area. Today's low was 1723.20, and we closed pretty much on the high at 1746.20. Oh, actually, that's where it is right now, which is open. It closed at 1749.60. So that was pretty close to the high, and I think we can work higher from there. The silver had a stronger day than that. It was up about 45 cents, but clearly the biggest winner on the day was Bitcoin, and I'll just give you a quick look at that. Called the breakout here. This is where we are. We made a new high, as I said, 64,450. And I don't see anything to stop it much before 68 to 70,000. All right, everyone. There you go. Have a good evening. I'll be back first thing in the morning with all of those pre-opening earnings for the banks, and we'll see how it looks. Have a good one, and don't forget to subscribe.